Hi, my name is Jez, and today we're going to talk about the Panasonic RR 830, a transcription tape machine with a lot of unique features, especially when it comes to experimental music. Many of you are probably aware of the very famous Library of Congress C1 and the other variants of this Library of Congress tape machine series. This is considered probably one of the best and probably one of the most iconic tape machines, especially as tape manipulators and experimental musicians go. This is sort of like the gold standard. There's another, I think, perhaps overlooked machine, and that is the RR 830 from Panasonic, which is considerably cheaper and I believe still being manufactured or at least easily available from retailers online, which is saying something for a tape machine. You're wondering what is special about it, and I have an answer for that. Like the Library of Congress C1, it has a great deal of pitch control. If you can see right here, you have one kind of tape speed and another thing called VSC, and the level goes from min to max. VSC is variable speech control, which it's sort of hard to explain. So maybe we should go and do some listening. I should mention though that another thing that makes this so unique is that it has a foot pedal. And the foot pedal has two buttons, play and rewind. This allows the machine to be very, very dynamic. You can adjust the speed, you can do other things with your hands while you're playing and reversing the tape with your feet. I'm going to get into why this is such a unique and special thing. Alright, so I've got here the machine, and I don't know if you can see it, I hope you can, the foot pedal. So we're going to do for the machine, turn it on, plug it in, and we are going to, let's see, I've already pressed play off screen before the video started, so here, I'm going to press play on the foot switch.
But for a moment you feel that wholeness, and then you can say, okay, that's the...
Alright, and so when I release the foot switch,
but for a moment you...
it rewinds a set amount. And that amount is actually right here on the backspace control. So it can be I have it about 5 out of 10. So if I make it really low, it pretty much doesn't do anything. You pretty much you can do a really tiny, tiny back step.
Being just snaps into a totality, if only for a moment.
Yeah, it's not even rewinding at all there. So if I bunch it up just a little bit.
But for a moment you... But for a moment you... But for a moment you...
And that's kind of the beauty of this thing, is that you can capture, almost like a sampler, things on tape machine and loop them live and with some tactile sense of what you're doing. You have a foot switch.
But for a moment you feel that wholeness, and then you can say, okay, that's the tuning fork. Tuning fork.
Oh, but what if I want to get her to say, that's the tuning fork? That's what the other side of this for. It's the backspace. It'll rewind as long as you hold it down.
Snaps into a totality, if only for a moment. But for a moment you feel that wholeness, and then you can say, okay, that's the tuning fork.
And if you hold the play head down, or not the play head, but the play pedal down,
it's the tuning fork,
it keeps going.
from which I can take my reality. I know who I am in that moment. And then, when you're walking...
And now, the real fun comes when you find a little section you like, or you let it play, and then
when you walk out that door and
instead
you
of
run
using
into a
your hands
reality that
down
you just
here,
can barely
you
relate
can
to at
start
all. You say, okay, This is my inner truth. This is what matters to me. I will try stand. This is my inner truth. 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 This is my inner truth.
And so that was only messing with the tape speed. What you can also mess with is the VSC level. So let's hear what that sounds like with the tape speed pretty much normal.
This is my inner truth. This is what matters to me. I will try to stand that inner truth.
All right, now we're going to turn the VSC on.
One is presented with a symbol in a dream.
How do you work with it then in your daily waking life to even understand more of the value of that symbol? We see this whole realm of symbol connects consciousness and unconsciousness. It's the world of poetry, the world of the whole.
So what's really happening here, I can't tell if it's supposed to be just another way to slow the tape down or to try to render it a little bit easier to transcribe. But what I do know that it's doing is it's creating this amazing bit crush on the audio.
Extension of the soul. I mean, the soul expresses itself in poetry, in music, in architecture.
You can hear this kind of grit in the sound.
Architecture, in painting and sculpting, all the arts. So that Sophocles, Shakespeare, they're just as relevant today as they were when they wrote hundreds of years ago. Because they are coming.
And I'm pretty sure that's a digital sound, which is kind of what makes this thing great because, as many people would say, tape's analog medium, and there's something really special that gets added to the sound from a tape because it's an analog medium.
They are coming in at that soul level.
Especially
and
the linear pitch
blindness,
shift.
sight, summer,
winter, all these images.
But to be able to add some kind of digital grit and more kind of basically introducing artifacts into the sound from this sort of faulty pitch reduction.
Images meant the same then as they do today. So that when they dream,
it adds a whole lot more.
dream, speaks with a symbol. Very often you barely understand it.
Dream
Speaks
with a symbol. Very often you barely
speaks
with a
symbol. Very often speaks with a symbol. Very often you when they dream
speaks with a symbol.
so that
When they
dream
speaks with a symbol. Often you
So you have a really wide breadth of modulation techniques that you can execute on this machine that are basically impossible on other machines because you can use both hands while simultaneously playing and reversing the tape. You're doing something with your foot and you're doing something with your hands. In addition to these settings, which are really great, we've got the backspace control, which basically determines how much it rewinds at a given release of the play button.
is relevant today.
We've got tone, which is pretty standard, just gives you more definition in the lows and highs.
So that Sophocles, Shakespeare,
And then a volume knob, which is pretty much dialed in. A thing that is really special about this machine that not all machines do, not all tape machines do, is that you can hear audibly the fast forward and the rewind sound while it's happening.
in architecture, in painting and sculpting.
That can be hard to come by. Only certain machines will play the rewind sound through the tape head. So it can actually be difficult to get a recording of that sound if you don't have a machine that's capable of transmitting it. So now that you've seen how cool this machine is, I'm going to try to make a track with it. I've been using it for a long time, so most of my music, if you've listened to it, has actually included this. I love how audible the rewind and fast forward sounds are, and so I make a lot of use of them. This weekend, I, for kicks, purchased the Korg Wavestation VST because it was on sale. And so I think for this track, I just want to make some killer pads with the Wavestation and just go at it with the Panasonic tape machine and get some nice cut up action going.
Wants us to God. And without that, life for me is just a two-dimensional, drag one foot after the other world, meaningless. I knew I've lived like that, and I came to the end of it. Couldn't go on. What happened to you at that juncture in your life? How old were you? 15 was the first time. Usually takes a few blows to 15 was the first time. Usually takes a few blows to get it into some kind of consciousness. But if you're going along happily, you see, if you're going consciousness, but into some kind of consciousness, get it into some kind of consciousness, some kind of consciousness. But if you're going into some kind of consciousness, but if you're going along happily.
Yeah, that's basically it. This is something that, there have been a lot of videos about the Library of Congress C1, and I felt like, maybe the Panasonic deserved its time in the spotlight because it is just as good and does, these different beautiful things, and it, for now at least, is more budget friendly than the Library of Congress C1 is. So, leave a comment below if you have anything to add, if you've also used this machine before. I'd like to add that, it's also available for those who are interested in micro cassette format. And I think that the pedal is totally compatible. I'm pretty sure they're the same. I have the micro cassette version, I just don't have any micro cassettes right now, so I would love to try to see how that one works too, if it is as special as this. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment if there's anything you'd like to see in the future. All right, thank you.